Ready enough.
Are you ready? Yes, born ready. You're ready, I'm ready.
All right, we'll get things straight here. The workshop council meeting for the city of Coppers Cove held October 7th, 2025 is called to order at 5:01 PM. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mayor Yancey.
Here.
Christina Strophus.
Here.
Rita Hogan.
Here.
Sean Alzona. John Hale.
Here.
Del Chudway.
Here.
Vanya Hart.
Here.
Jack Smith.
Here.
All right, a quorum is present. We go to item C, announcements.
None for me, Mr. Mayor.
So,
Mr. Mayor, the Cove House is celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and we're having a banquet on November 1st. Tickets are available and tables are available at covehouse.org. Thank you.
right.
Yes, sir. This past Saturday, we had National Night Out block party downtown. It was a fantastic event. It was a lot of fun. And just want to say thank you to Crystal Baker, who really spearheaded the organization of that. Crystal, you did amazing. So tonight is the National Night Out block parties, which are occurring through town. So if you're out, you see a party, go have fun and meet your neighbors, meet the law enforcement individuals that are protecting and caring for our community. This Saturday, the fire department is hosting an open house at Central Station that begins at 9 a.m. at Central Station. That's right next to the Coppers Cove Public Library. And then the Historical Society is actually hosting the Ogletree Gap Heritage Festival out at Ogletree. That begins at 10 a.m. Thank you, Mayor.
Is that it? Okay.
I have nothing, sir. Thank you.
Nothing, sir.
Vanya?
Yes, I just would like to announce the Friends of Central Texas State Veteran Cemetery Wreaths for Vets will be doing their annual wreath preparation on Saturday, November 22nd at 10 a.m. Wreath laying ceremony Saturday, November 29th at 10 a.m. and wreath retrieval Saturday, January 10th, 2026 at 10 a.m. And if you want more information, please visit wreathsforvets.org. Thank you.
Okay. Jack?
No announcements.
All right, we move to item D, public recognition.
Item 1, Employee Service Awards, October 2025. Ryan Havilah, City Manager.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Mayor and council, it's the beginning of the month, and we get to recognize some of our amazing team members. And we are going to start with Ronnie Gass, who is celebrating 10 years of service within our Fleet Services Department. He is a lead mechanic. Ronnie began, there we go, look at that. Ronnie began his career with the City of Coppers Cove on October 13, 2015, when he was hired as a mechanic in the Fleet Services Department. In March 2022, he was promoted to lead mechanic, a role in which he continues to proudly serve our departments and community. Ronnie brings a vast amount of mechanical knowledge, particularly in larger commercial vehicles and heavy equipment. He is highly skilled in braking systems and hydraulics, performing both minor and major repairs, as well as routine preventative maintenance that keeps city operations running smoothly. In addition to his mechanical expertise, Ronnie oversees the annual STEERS reporting for Fleet Services, a TCEQ requirement for hazardous chemical tracking. A graduate of the city's Development and Leadership Academy Class Number 3, Ronnie continues to demonstrate strong technical ability and leadership. His supervisor noted, Ronnie excels at troubleshooting vehicles utilizing the Cummins Insight electronic service diagnostic program. And Ronnie has a long way to continue demonstrating that leadership. Ronnie, thank you for your 10 years of service with the city. Next, we celebrate with Vincenzo Melatello. I hope I got that right, sir. I'm so sorry if I didn't. Is that right? Correct me. Vincenzo, all right. Y'all laughing at me. Celebrating 10 years of service with our police department, Vincenzo, known to many as Jim. What? It's a long story. We don't have time, I guess. Began his career with the city of Copperas Cove on October 5, 2015, when he was hired as a patrol officer in the police department. He was promoted to police corporal in October 2018, and his position was later reclassified to police sergeant in October 2019. Jim holds a T-Cole Master Peace Officer certification, firearms instructor certification, and an instructor certification. In addition to his patrol duties, he serves as a member of the department's SWAT team, a firearms instructor, and alert instructor, which is Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training, and a field training officer. Jim is known for his reliability, consistently adjusting his schedule to provide coverage and support across multiple shifts. In his recent evaluation, his supervisor noted, Sergeant Militello does well by monitoring what officers are doing and corrects them as needed. He effectively communicates with his subordinates and keeps officers motivated while practicing good teamwork methods on shift. And I gotta say, I was able to, well, I don't know that I completely ran it, but got to run in a 10K with the SWAT team. And Jim was quite the encourager. So Jim, thank you for your 10 years of service to our city. Next, we celebrate with Michaela Ortega, celebrating 10 years of service also. Michaela was hired by the city of Copperas Cove as a patrol officer in the police department on October 5, 2015. She was promoted to police corporal in October 2018, and her position was reclassified to police sergeant in October 2019. Michaela holds a T-Cole Advanced Peace Officer certification and an instructor certification. She serves at the department's crisis negotiations team and is recognized for her reliability and attention to detail. She consistently completes assignments accurately and on time with minimal supervision, effectively manages her workload, and is always willing to assist when needed. Her attendance record is exemplary, reflecting her commitment and professionalism. Michaela also achieved a score of 75 on her most recent physical readiness test, exceeding the department's current standard. Her supervisor noted in a recent evaluation that Sergeant Ortega can be relied upon to be present and fully engaged during her shift. She has a keen ability to identify areas where newer officers may be lacking and promptly takes corrective actions to enhance their performance and development. Michaela, thank you for 10 years of service to our city and community. And next, we celebrate with Richard Williams, celebrating 25 years of service within the police department. Richard, also known as Rick to everybody, was hired by the city of Copperas Cove as a communications operator in the police department on October 21, 2020, sorry, Rick, and has proudly served the community for 25 years. And I just want to point out that is a quarter of a century. So you started really young, Rick. Really young. Rick was recognized as the Communications Operator of the Year in 2006 by the Copperas Cove Crime Stoppers organization for his exceptional service. He also once received a corporal's coin for his actions during a rollover car accident, and Rick's expertise as a dispatcher has been a significant asset to the department. He is often the first to learn new equipment and programs, researching manuals and mastering systems independently. Rick consistently supports newer communications operators and has increased his presence during community events over the past few years. In his spare time, he actively participates in the city's Cove Fit Wellness program. His supervisor noted in a recent evaluation, Rick's judgment is never questioned, and I don't say that lightly. I have complete faith faith in his decisions. He can be depended on to solve problems without seeking the advice of others. He is professional to the citizens of the city and has built a rapport with them to the point that many know who he is and how he operates. Rick is a staple of the dispatch office. The city of Copperas Cove commends Rick for his exceptional dedication, professionalism, and invaluable service to the police department and our community. And I just want to point out that as a dispatcher, you are that connection between those in the most critical moment of their life up to that point and getting the help to them. And so 25 years is a long time to be in that role. Rick, thank you for your dedicated service to our city and community.
All right. We move to item 2.
Retirement recognition, Ryan Havilah, City Manager.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Mayor and council, we have, at this point, we have done a lot of recognitions for Chief Gary Young, but we are going to celebrate officially this one last time. Chief Young has retired from the Copperas Cove Fire Department after 36 years of service. And I think that right there just should receive an applause immediately. So Gary began his career with the city of Copperas Cove on September 23, 1989, as a fire recruit 1. He earned his firefighter EMT certification in 1990 and paramedic certification in 1993. Promotions followed to fire lieutenant in December of 1994, to deputy fire chief in July of 2009, and finally to fire chief in February of 2023, where he proudly served until his retirement on September 23 of this year. And just to put that in perspective, that is 3.5 decades. So Gary consistently fostered professionalism, teamwork, and compassion across departments, with volunteers, and with various regional and state partnerships. His knowledge of fire and EMS standards, coupled with his leadership in helping to implement the 4896 work schedule for the fire department, strengthened the department and improved operations. In addition to leading the fire department, Gary also served as emergency management coordinator, guiding the city through floods, wildfires, hurricane responses, winter storms, a tornado, and even that global pandemic that we all now call COVID-19 just a few years ago. In many situations, Gary was actually the calm during that storm. Gary earned his bachelor's degree summa cum laude, whoa, yeah, in fire and emergency administration with a Homeland Security concentration from Texas A&M San Antonio in 2019. And in April of 2022, he received the Mount Hiram Masonic Lodge's prestigious Community Builder Award, a very prestigious award. Chief Young's outstanding knowledge has helped the fire department and the city deliver quality service and maintain readiness in all situations through his entire career. Many of Gary's coworkers have received a lot from you, Gary, over 36 years. You have mentored a lot of firefighters. You've also mentored a lot of other team members throughout our city, but also throughout our region. And a lot of people relied on you. So we wish you and your family the very best after this retirement. And I know you've already been enjoying it. And so with that, Mayor and Council, we have a few items that we want to present to Gary. The first one is I'm actually going to give you money. Yeah. And then we're going to present his picture, and then the mayor will present his item.
Mayor, council, city manager, and everybody here, anybody watching. Thank you so much. It has been an honor to serve this community for the last 36 years. It's actually 36 and a half, but I started as a volunteer firefighter in March of 1989, and a good friend of mine, Brian Keene, was the one who drugged me in and said, hey, come try this out. And I never left. So thank you. I do appreciate it, and good luck to everybody.
Yeah, you can go on up there. Mayor and council, Gary's coming up to receive your congratulations as well.
Yes.
All right, we move on to item 3.
Recognition of Citizens Leadership Academy graduates. Kevin Keller, Public Relations Director.
Thank you, Lisa. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. So this evening, we're going to recognize these fine, amazing, beautiful young people you see in the front row here in the green shirts. This is the Citizens Leadership Academy Class 2. Just a little background: with the City Council's direction, Citizens Leadership Academy inaugural class was created and completed in 2024. Following much success, class number 2 was presented this current year from August 7th through September 25th. Class 2 consisted of 11 participants, all coming to us from various backgrounds, life, and work experiences. This class included local community partners and business professionals, business owners, engaged community members, retirees, and even a couple of our own team's family members. The participants spent 20-plus hours with us over the course of 8 weeks, where they received insight into day-to-day operations of the various local city government services. To successfully complete the course, participants may miss no more than 2 classes, and they must attend both a City Council workshop and a City Council regular meeting. You may recognize their faces because several of them have been very engaged in attending the recent meetings. 10 of the 11 participants had perfect attendance. Overall, the class had a 98.9% attendance rate, and all participants have met the requirements necessary for graduation this evening. I've asked 2 lucky participants to come forward to share a few thoughts on the Academy. So I'd like to welcome Ms. Beth Galick-Carney first.
Thank you, Kevin. Good evening, everyone. Mayor, City Council, Mr. Haverlaw. So my role with the Chamber of Commerce, I work with a lot of departments with the city already. But one thing that I found very, very valuable about going through the Leadership Academy is, of course, learning about all the departments that I don't work with, but most of all, learning about the people behind the departments. How hard they work and how much they care about the city, and everything that they do, they put their heart and soul into. I know that as a citizen, sometimes when things don't go the way we think they should through the city, it's easy to forget that there are really great people working behind each department, and they want the best for their city just like we do. So I think that's the most valuable thing I got out of it.
Thank you for sharing those comments. Now I'm going to invite Miss Cecilia or Miss Rosa. One of them is going to come up here and speak. They may come together, I'm not sure. So, Miss Rosa Young.
I'll be her support.
This is my sister Cecilia, and I'm Rosie Young. I want to thank my son Gary. He's the one that told us about the academy, and we attended the graduation last year, and I was really interested in it. So I was really excited to be able to see all the departments and what they do, and just amazed at how dedicated they are. And everybody loves their job. I was like, yes, we live in an awesome city. I just enjoyed every meeting that we went to. You can tell them how you got in.
Well, I got drug here, so I was, when they asked me why I came, I says, I don't know, I was told to come. But I really, really enjoyed it. I think I've made some friends with my sister here, and I'm really excited about volunteering. I think that that's one of the things that was shown to us, you know, that there are several departments where you can become a volunteer. I think my sister wants to do the animal department, which I'll probably be drugged there too, but I'm interested in the police department where you call in the shut-ins. And again, I think that everybody that, all the departments that gave presentations, they just really seem to enjoy their job and, you know, really care for the city of Copperas Cove. So, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Rosa, Miss Cecilia. We're glad you got drug here. You brought a lot of life to the class. Thank you. So at this point, I'd like to ask our mayor, city council, city manager, if you all have many of you have attended the courses throughout the last 8 weeks. If you had any comments or words of wisdom you'd like to share, I'd open that to y'all.
Don't everybody speak at once. Ladies first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you so much for your desire to serve and to learn more about our city. Hopefully, I just urge you and just ask kindly to spread that information around. There's a lot of people in our community that is unaware about how things are run, how things function. So just that information can go a long way. I love knowledge, and I'm glad that you guys were able to gain that. I'm glad you guys had fun. I'm glad you guys had snacks and food. But it was always nice to come. When I was able to make it and come there, it was nice to see you all there and engage in conversation. So congratulations, and again, thank you so much for serving and coming. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just want to thank all y'all for participating, and I agreed with everything Mayor Pro Tem Vanya Hart said.
Sound like a ditto. I would just like to say that, you know, this is called Leadership Academy because this is a birthplace of future leaders, and everybody here makes a difference in our city. And I think one of the things that was mentioned was volunteerism. That is so important and so vital to the success of any city, is your volunteerism. And the more that you know, the more that you can help. And I certainly appreciate everybody taking the time to be involved in city government, city business, how it works, and how it works correctly. Thank you.
Okay, graduates. Thank you for attending, and congratulations on graduating. Here, I'm going to challenge y'all. Don't let it stop here. You are some of the most educated citizens about city operations now that you've gone through the academy. And we've already talked about volunteerism, and that's great. But you have connection points that our team, even the council members, will never have. And now you have the opportunity to help spread factual information or make the direct connections that don't exist right now. So don't let us stop here. Keep pushing that education, that information, that encouragement, and those connections further beyond you. Congratulations.
Okay, thank y'all for sharing those kind words. So at this point, I'm going to ask the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and city manager if y'all will come down here. We're going to present certificates. Mayor Pro Tem Vanya Hart is the city council liaison to the academy, so she's going to participate in this process. And we're going to award certificates. So here's what we're going to do. When I call your name, you're going to come over here and you're going to stand. There's a piece of blue tape on the floor. If you'll stand there on that blue tape and then look for Anna. Anna, raise your hand. Look for Anna because she's going to be taking your picture. Family members, you're more than welcome to come up and take photos also, but we are going to post these to the city's Facebook page tonight, so you can grab them off there if you'd like to. Now, city manager gave Gary Young a retirement gift of money. Y'all aren't receiving money tonight. Just, I want to be very clear. Our first graduate is Miss Michelle Adkins. Our next graduate, Miss Shelby Carroll. Unfortunately, could not be with us this evening due to a family emergency, Miss Bettina Cash. Mr. Matthew Kuhlman. Miss Shirlene Fincher. Miss Beth Gaelic Carney. Miss Jill Holmes.
Got some fans.
Miss Cecilia Moreno Shotwell. And unfortunately could not be with us this evening due to a family emergency, Mr. Andy Remedies. Miss Melody Squires. And last but certainly not least, Miss Rosa Young. Okay, congratulations. Y'all don't take off. We're going to do a group photo in here in a minute. But the participants were asked to each select a department which they felt was deserving of being recognized for the best presentation. It was not public relations, sadly, for the second year in a row. While votes were cast for multiple departments, the one receiving the most votes is the, drum roll, Copperas Cove Fire Department. So I'd like to welcome Deputy Chief Stephen Clendenin and retired Fire Chief Gary Young. Come on up, as they were the ones who made the presentation. And that comes with no monetary incentive either. Okay, again, congratulations. As the city manager said, it doesn't stop here. I too encourage you and challenge you to stay engaged in what's going on in your community. We're a phone call away if y'all need anything. Please contact us. Please share the word for next year's Academy. We're doing a Class 3 next summer. And just know that you're valued and appreciated. And thank you for choosing to spend the time with us, because you didn't have to. So we're going to take a group photo up front here after one round of applause, and we'll do a group photo up here.
Yes. Typically. Today.
Proclamation, Crime Prevention Month 2025, Dandy Yancey, Mayor.
City of Copperas Cove proclamation. Whereas the vitality of our city depends on how safe we keep our homes, neighborhoods, schools, workplaces, and communities, because crime and fear of crime diminish the quality of life for all. And whereas people of all ages must be made aware of what they can do to prevent themselves, their families, neighbors, and coworkers from being harmed by violence, drugs, and other crime. And whereas crime prevention initiatives must include a go beyond self-protection and security to promote collaborative efforts to make neighborhoods safer for all ages, and to develop positive educational and recreational opportunities for young people. And whereas effective crime prevention programs excel because of partnerships among law enforcement, other government agencies, civic groups, schools, faith communities, businesses, and individuals, as they help to nurture communal responsibility and instill pride. Whereas crime prevention initiatives, did I miss something? Here we go. Thank you for that cursor there. Okay. Now, I, therefore, Dan Yancey, Mayor of City of Copperas Cove, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Crime Prevention Month 2025 in the City of Copperas Cove, and I urge all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, and businesses to invest in the power of prevention and work together for the common good.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Haverlaw. On behalf of the Copperas Cove Police Department, I just want to say that we appreciate our city leadership and our community for the support. Crime prevention truly is a team effort, and we are very proud to serve alongside all of you who care just as much about the safety of our city as we do. So thank you very much.
Item 5, proclamation Code Compliance Month. Dan D. Yancey, Mayor.
City of Copperas Cove proclamation. Whereas code compliance officers provide for the safety, health, and welfare of the citizens of the City of Copperas Cove through the enforcement of local codes and ordinances facing various issues of building, zoning, housing, environmental, health, and life safety. And whereas code compliance officers frequently have a challenging and demanding role for oftentimes do not receive recognition for the job they do in improving living and working conditions for residents and businesses of local communities. And whereas code compliance officers are dedicated and highly qualified professionals who share the goals of preventing neighborhood deterioration, enhancing and ensuring safety, and preserving property values through knowledge and application of housing, zoning, and nuisance codes and ordinances. And whereas code compliance officers are called upon to provide quality customer service and excellence to the residents and businesses of the community of which they serve. And whereas the month of October observance provides the opportunity to highlight the contributions these individuals have made in the quality of our community and to recognize the participation and dedication of code compliance officers who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the City of Copperas Cove. Now therefore, I, Dan Yancey, Mayor of the City of Copperas Cove, do hereby and proclaim October 2025 as Code Compliance Month in the City of Copperas Cove, Texas. And I urge each and every citizen to extend their appreciation to code compliance officers and staff for their outstanding service and dedication.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members, city manager. We do appreciate this. We have a wonderful team that works hard in code compliance. Sometimes you don't see it, but we are doing stuff. Our motto is, you never see what we're not doing. You're not seeing what we're doing, but you do see what we're not getting to. But we do strive. We have a wonderful team that works hard. We have great leadership in Copperas Cove that reflects onto our workmanship as well. So we do appreciate this, and we do not take this lightly. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Item 6, proclamation National Chamber of Commerce Day 2025. Dan D. Yancey, Mayor.
City of Copperas Cove proclamation. Whereas chambers of commerce across the United States have long served as vital advocates for business, commerce, and community prosperity, providing leadership and vision to strengthen local economies and foster civic engagement. And whereas the Copperas Cove Chamber of Commerce, established in 1956, has continuously worked to advance the welfare and prosperity of the Copperas Cove area by supporting businesses, promoting tourism, encouraging community connection, and strengthening partnerships with local government, schools, military families, and residents. And whereas the Chamber has embraced innovation by modernizing services for its members, enhancing communication, creating new programs, and collaborating with community, when she flips and messes it. There we go. Where am I? There we go. Enhancing communications, creating new programs, and collaborating with community partners, because together we build more than business. And whereas National Chamber of Commerce Day is observed annually on the third Wednesday of October, which this year falls on October 15th, 2025, recognizing and celebrating the important role chambers play in communities across America, including right here in Copperas Cove. Now, therefore, I, Dan Yancey, Mayor of Copperas Cove, Texas, do hereby and declare and proclaim October 15th, 2025 as National Chamber of Commerce Day 2025 in Copperas Cove, Texas. And I encourage all citizens to recognize and support the Copperas Cove Chamber of Commerce for its commitment to strengthening our community, supporting our businesses, and leading with innovation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I just want to say thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it. We've been working really hard over the last 2 years to make some major changes at the Chamber of Commerce, and we're not stopping. So thank you so much for this recognition, and I do really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Mayor Yancey, if it pleases you, I'd like to go back to recognition number 2, Mr. Gary Young's retirement celebration, if that's all right. Okay. So we have a representative here from Senator Flores' office who would also like to present to Chief Young. Mr. Chip Howell.
Thank you, and thank you for the grace of allowing me to be a little late today. This comes from Senator Pete Flores. Whereas Gary Young retired as chief of the Copperas Cove Fire Department on September 23rd, 2025, drawing to a close 36 years of exemplary service as a firefighter. And whereas Chief Young first joined Copperas Cove Fire Department on September 23rd, 1989, and he served the department in multiple roles, including emergency management coordinator, before his promotion to fire chief on February 6, 2023. In the course of his tenure, he fostered a culture of professionalism and acted as a mentor to the next generation of firefighters. And whereas along the way, Chief Young continued his professional development, earning certificates as Master Firefighter, Master Fire Instructor, Licensed Paramedic, Fire Service Chief Executive Officer, and Fire Executive. And he received a bachelor's degree, I think it's the bifocals. And he received a bachelor's degree from Texas A&M University, San Antonio. His contributions have been recognized with a Community Builder Award from Mount Hiram Lodge number 595. And whereas Chief Gary Young's hard work, professionalism, and commitment to excellence have earned him the admiration and appreciation of the citizens of Copperas Cove, and he is indeed deserving of the recognition of his exemplary service. Now therefore be it resolved that Fire Chief Gary Young be congratulated on his retirement from the Copperas Cove Fire Department, and that he be extended sincere best wishes for the future. Signed, Pete P. Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Appreciate you making it here. And if we can have all of the city director leadership come on up to the front with retired Fire Chief Gary Young, we're going to take a quick photo with you and the council. Come on up here to the center, sir.
All right, we move on to item E, workshop items.
Discuss and provide direction regarding the creation of a street maintenance utility and associated fees as necessary to fix and perpetually maintain the city's current and future street network. Scott Osborne, Assistant City Manager, Director of Public Works.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Manager, and the rest of City Council. No pun intended when I say it's a long road that has led us back here for discussion. We want to talk about, continue the discussion on the city's proposed street maintenance utility tonight and get some direct feedback from City Council based on the public engagement campaign that has transpired over the last month. So with that, I want to go over just some of the metrics relating to those town halls and that public engagement that we saw in the month of September. We had, as you recall, 7 town hall meetings. 3 of those were commercial or were geared towards commercial customers, and the other 4 were geared towards residential customers. Out of the 7 meetings, there were a total of 298 citizens that actually attended in this room as a briefing was presented to more further explain what the street maintenance utility is and the goals behind this potential program to ultimately work towards fixing the city's streets. In addition to the town halls, we held various different civic club presentations. So far, we've held 5, and that's typically Ryan and myself. Kevin Keller or Anna attend as well. And we sit down with groups such as the Rotary Club, Altruza, the Noon Exchange Club. We also have one final one of those tomorrow, I believe at noon, and that's the Young at Hearts group. But in total so far, we have reached out and basically provided presentations, addressed questions related to the street maintenance utility, and spread really what the purpose of this and what the city's goals are relating to its transportation network. We obviously had other public engagement. This included individual in-depth discussions with a variety of different non-residential entities throughout the city. I won't read these, but I've listed some of the more direct ones. And what these meetings entailed were sit-down meetings between myself and representatives of these organizations to really talk through in detail how this program would actually affect their specific business entity in the community. Detailed individualized email responses, those were provided similar to the individual meetings, asking really for that individualized detail relating to business entities in the community. We had approximately 13,000 emails distributed through the Utility Administration Department, and this included individualized emails to the business entities where we had valid emails in the system. In addition to the city's efforts, which also included at the bottom the social media advisory posts, advising of the upcoming meetings and all of the information that is related to this program, the Chamber of Commerce actually completed a business survey of all of its members and provided that information to City Council. So with this, City Council, I believe Mr. Haverlaw has provided City Council with the correspondence, the feedback that city staff has received for your consideration as we look into what this program currently looks like and where it may be going in the future. So the summary of comments, complaints, and recommendations, we've provided this list. I apologize, this presentation didn't get to you until about noon today, so I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at that. However, as many members of this council were actually at those town hall meetings, if not one, all 7 in some instances, some of you were there and you heard firsthand what the community's concerns were about this program. These have been summarized here, but really the big one at the top there, affordability for small business is the #1 concern. The high rate structure could force closure, sale, or relocation. We heard this multiple times through the Q&A sessions following those town halls. Relating to those question and answer periods at those town halls, Ryan and myself, we stayed until the questions were done, until there were no other questions at that time. Those questions were followed up again by individualized emails as those came in as well. There is a list of other concerns here, and Mr. Haverlaw, you kind of put this summary together. Is there anything you'd like to highlight here?
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Mayor and Council, I just want to highlight the top 2 points because we heard these numerous times, and that is affordability for small businesses, the #1 concern. Several comments were made that this was going to put businesses out of business. And so that's, I think you all heard that in a number of the meetings that you attended as well. The second one, though not heard nearly as frequently as the first one, but residents on fixed incomes worry about that $10 per month fee as well. And so those are the 2 big ones. You can always look through all the rest of those, and we can have discussions about them if necessary. On page 2, I also wanted to point out, because I really want to make it clear that we have been very transparent through this process, including putting a summary of the comments on there. So right in the middle there, it says desire for transparency, and that there were a number of comments made about mismanagement, corruption, not utilizing funds properly, which is the mismanagement piece. So I just want to make it very transparent that we've included all of those comments in this discussion and in this presentation as well. So if council has any questions about any of these items or wants to discuss any of these specific, we can, but as you attended these meetings, you've probably read about them. This is a pretty good consensus of all of those comments, questions, complaints, and recommendations.
And with that, Mr. Haverlaw also compiled the top public recommendations received, and I will go through those just to kind of set the stage for the rest of the presentation that will follow. The first one is to reduce and cap the non-residential rates substantially, consider a lower residential rate as well. There was a repeated cry or calls for the street just not to move forward with this program due to its impacts. The third one, establish a business committee to study the plan and bring recommendations. Allow local traffic studies that exclude storage, non-customer areas, and refined categories. Strengthen our transparency and accountability. Consider hybrid funding with a modest fee plus additional sales tax dedication plus bonds and grants. And establish exemptions for nonprofits and governmental entities. With all of these recommendations in mind, one of the common discussion points that I had during individualized discussions, and we had it at some of the town halls, related to, is there, basically a concern out there about the condition of the city's transportation network? The majority of people acknowledge there is an issue out there. Most people further acknowledge that the city does not have sufficient resources at this point to move forward. Overwhelmingly, however, people don't like this proposal, this program as it's currently structured. So I did want to put that out there and along with the rest of this, kind of set the stage of what we're looking at. So throughout the commercial town halls and also into the residential town halls, there was a comparison on the presentations for both residential and commercial relating to residential rates in other communities in a comparison to what City Council has moved forward in this draft. There was not, however, a non-residential comparison with the current draft. I've put that together, as you see, Copperas Cove's on the left. The highlighted numbers are the current draft's amounts. You can see in the city of Killeen, the city of College Station, and the city of Waco, they are substantially less, with the exception of supermarkets, at least in Killeen and Waco across the board. With that being said, as we've discussed before, each community has a different approach to establishing these street maintenance utilities, and they use, although majority of them refer back to the Institute of Transportation Engineers manual for trip counts, there's other things they do to those numbers before that becomes what their rates are based on. And you see that in each one of these other communities. For example, College Station basically established 5 tiers for non-residential units, ranging from, I believe it was about $50 up to that $33.50 that you see for the 140,000 square foot supermarket. That is their top tier in College Station. In Waco, you see other tailoring of their programs to match the needs of those individual communities, and that's what you see. But that's, as of right now, the current draft that is on the table. You can see on the far left, you know, the comments we've received that were way out of line. That, based on this comparison, that is a factual statement. So tonight, we have 5 decision points that city staff is looking for city council specific direction on. They're indicated on the slide. The first decision is whether or not to continue down this path for the street maintenance utility and fee program development. The second one, if the answer to number 1 is yes, proceed, will there be a residential fee adjustment? The third one, non-residential fee adjustment. The fourth one, revisit the idea of exemptions. Throughout the town halls, we did have various comments and concerns relating to types of entities and why they were not exempted from this program. The fifth one is potentially establishing a program evaluation period. Not all street maintenance utility programs in other communities have these, but a lot do, and this is really the concept of, okay, within a period of time, come back and show us, city council, and the community by extension, what has been accomplished, where has that money been spent. Some communities establish, further requirements such as an audit, things of that nature, but we'll get into that as we get through this. So the first question is really the most pivotal. Decision 1 is the question of should we continue to move forward. I put together just a couple brief slides here just to remind the community what we're looking at. This is the condition of the streets transportation network as of 2022 based on the pavement condition index assessment that was conducted and completed on every street segment within the city. As we saw in those town halls, basically, when you start out at green, those are the new roads. As you move down to blue, those are a little bit older. Red and orange is when you really start seeing that substandard condition. Overall, once again, back in '22, The city's overall street condition, average condition was at approximately 60 PCI out of a scale of 100. So we need to consider, as we consider this decision, what is the future of the city's street network if this accelerating trend of deterioration is not reversed, stabilized, or at least slowed. The reference to the right is a standard pavement deterioration chart, and what this is, it measures basically average condition versus age, and spells out where rehabilitation, maintenance, and things should occur on this spectrum. At the top here, this is about an 80, at least based on this deterioration chart. This is when they recommend that you need to initially investigate. Other charts similar to this start a little bit higher to get to that crack ceiling and things of that nature. However, a 60 is right here. So you can see you're basically on this curve, and this is the accelerated decline that network will see if there's not rehabilitation and effective maintenance of that network. So ultimately, you will move down to in the 30 range, the end of the optimum life, end of effective service life at 20, and basically end of usable structure life right around that 10 PCI mark. We do have, based on the assessment, various roadways that fit in these categories, but on average, we're setting it about right here.
And Mayor and Council, I'll just add that this chart on the left, access from very good to very poor at the bottom, is inversely related to the cost to repair the condition of those roads. So as it stays in that very good condition, the cost in those areas is low, whereas once it drops down to those very poor conditions, the cost becomes very high.
And the last slide on just to set the stage for this decision is we've discussed this for about approximately in earnest for about 5 years since starting in 2020. City Council has discussed other viable legal and equitable revenue sources and believe that City Council is well aware of what other options it has relating to taking care of this significant issue. Also, City Council should consider the time, effort, and expense invested since 2020, and that includes the assessments that we've completed, the work by outside consultants, and also y'all's time, city staff's time. But with that, I believe, yes, that's where I'll pause and open it up for decision number one.
You have anything, Brian? Okay. All right. Council, do you have some things you'd like to say? Do we want to continue with figuring out if this is a viable project? However we do it, whether it's the way that it was originally written or some variation thereof, do we want to continue with this process?
I would like to continue with the process, but a modified rate schedule for businesses.
Anybody
I
else?
concur.
Everybody? You have something, Jack?
It needs to be a big modification for businesses. I mean, the numbers that we had presented to all the town halls aren't going to work at all.
Okay. All right, so the consensus would be continue forward.
All right. Okay, so let's move quickly into decision two. The question is, Should there be a residential fee adjustment? Recall City Council's current direction is to establish that, for discussion purposes, that residential fee at $10 per single-family equivalent. Would like to highlight that every dollar reduction of the SFE fee equates to the decrease of approximately $278,500 annually. And then the reduction of that base fee results in a reduction in all accounts, because this is the baseline multiplier for all of those accounts. So it does affect both residential and non-residential revenues alike.
Council. Scott, I guess my question is, if it's reduced and we look at a $278,500 deficit, which means that less streets can be maintained at the level that they need to be maintained at, is there a force multiplier in there that, because that is not, that money's not raised, that overall the condition deteriorates, and therefore the cost to renovate is going to be much more expensive in the long run?
Yes, Mayor, there is a direct correlation between deferred maintenance and the cost of that maintenance or rehabilitation or reconstruction once you reach that level. But just to remind City Council, the original draft estimated approximately $3 million in revenue. Based on the original assessment, to move that or to turn that trend around from going down to going up to a 70 PCI, we would need about $4.6 million a year, and that was back in 2022. With that being said, I've had this discussion many times with various council members and others. This doesn't need to be the entire solution to this problem. Right now, you have a 1/4 cent sales tax allocation, which makes up $1.3 million. Right now with this, you would, if everything was left as is, you would see another $3 million net revenue per year. So that's 4.3. You're getting closer to that benchmark. But again, this doesn't have to be the entire solution to this, quite frankly, a monumental issue that we have. But just recognize with that 278, that would be, if nothing else was changed, just that $1 reduction, say it moved from 10 to 9, you would take $278,500 away from that $3 million. So that's basically the correlation that we have.
But we're also talking about modifying the business assessments greatly. That's going to further decrease that.
It would be, right, and that's as we get into decision 3, we'll talk specifically about non-residential and a proposal that city staff would like City Council to consider on that side.
Okay. Council, can you express some opinions on what you
I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
In regards to the residential fee, not necessarily reducing it all across the board, but taking into consideration those that do live on set, limited incomes and not being able to afford $10 or $9 or, even down to maybe $1 is still a lot for these individuals. So I think there needs to be some adjustment to that respect.
And if I may, that may be better suited for decision number 4 when we get into exemptions, potentially exemptions. And I've heard, basically the same comments too. Any fee is too much. And I think that's a reality in parts of our society at this time. There's other utilities that residents have to pay for: water, wastewater, solid waste, drainage, things of that nature. And unfortunately, some folks don't have enough to pay their utility bill on a monthly basis. There is, assistance programs out there that I think help some of these folks through that. But again, it may be better tailored to have that discussion there.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor, I have a few comments, but I'm gonna wait till we get further down with the different type of decisions we have to make.
All right. So do you need a decision on this particular deal, whether to keep $10 as the baseline?
That's what I'm looking for. We could always come back to this. I've tried to keep this very step-by-steppy. But at the same time, if you want to get through the non-residential aspects and come back to this, we can do that as well.
Jack?
I do have a question. When we were talking about water utility bills years ago, we weren't allowed to give a discount because it's a utility. And it's against state law, so I don't know if that would affect this utility.
If I may, I think the concept of it is valid, even if you would compare it or bring that logic across the board to this particular fee. In essence, you're treating the members of the same class of customers in a different way, and that's why I believe it's the utility code prohibits that in the context of water and wastewater. We don't have a similar statutory prohibition for that here, but I believe the logic follows that approach, that would be something that is probably discouraged.
Councilmember Smith, I would fully agree with what Mr. Osborne just said. Yeah.
Yes, because no one's tested it yet, I think is the answer. And it is a utility fee.
Correct.
And we're not allowed to discount certain groups of people.
Well, you can discount all you want as long as it applies to the entire customer class.
Yes.
As
yes.
it's defined in
Okay,
our
so
rate structure.
residential, we can't say one group of residences.
Yeah, it'd have to be all residences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So are we looking, at least at this point, leaving it at the $10 fee?
So
as a
right,
baseline?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, right now, what we're looking to decide on is a $10 single-family equivalent monthly fee appropriate.
Correct.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that at this point? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
support.
Yeah, Mayor, if I can just provide a quick statement on this. Yes, we are asking for the decision on this because after tonight, we're going to revise the ordinance, and we are trying to get that ordinance in as final condition and make sure that when we bring it to you, we're not having to go back through these discussions again. So that's why we're taking the time to do it tonight, so that we can get that direction now, so that when we bring a final document to you, it is exactly what you want.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would like to add something else. If it is deciding on this $10, I believe that is a high mark to set for everybody across the board, starting out. I fully understand that something has to be done about our streets and that the money has to come from somewhere. But I also understand that this is taking the community by surprise of a $10 increase. I would like to consider something, maybe half of that, $5. And then review it over the years, I would say annually. I know that's coming up later on, and looking at possible increases gradually over time.
if we decrease it to $5, and that's over
It's over $1 million.
over $1 million right there. I'm not sure how much that accomplishes, but can you get some comments?
Well, it's a lot more than we have right now. You know what I mean?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I just asked for a few minutes. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't want to pay this fee, but I understand it's a necessity, and we need it, okay? I don't know what the previous administrations in the city's done between council, staff. I'm not laying blame on no one, but we need to move forward. The growth is coming this way, and I've understood what the small businesses say. If it's too high, it'll close us down. But at the same time, we don't have decent roads. We're also not going to get new and big businesses in town, especially a lot of them that requires the weight requirements for some of their trucks. Okay, this is just me saying this. Let's say if we went from $10 to $8. Now, correct me if my math's wrong, Scott. That's around a little over $500,000. Okay, I know that still hurts. I could be willing to go down to 8, but I'll be honest, 10 will get us close to where we need. We got to start somewhere. And I would just say, once we get through these decisions, then come back and relook at this maybe, which I know it's in one of the decision areas, but come back and look at it every 5 years. That way it's locked in, and then we just come back at a later date. But again, that's just my 2 cents. And then the businesses, I can live with the $20. I just try to get it all out now for myself.
Anybody?
Mr.
Ms.
Mayor, I can feel comfortable with 8. If I look at the surrounding community, we're at 10 on the east, and then we got about 7 on the, I think 7 for Limpasses. So if we go about 8, I think that sets us about pretty fairly.
Anybody else? Sean?
Mr. Mayor, Scott, do we have anything that shows a phased approach? I think I heard that mentioned. I mean, obviously, they'd have to change the math over time to meet that, but as we phase it in, that gap, I mean, I like the idea of a phased approach. It's easier to swallow. I know it's coming. I know in a year or two, I'm going to add another $1 or another $1. But I'm curious how wide that gap gets if we don't get on it. Have you looked at that at all?
Right. The phased approach, phased implementation approach has not been looked at in any great detail because that was not the direction we were provided at the time. Not saying that we couldn't look into that at council's direction. However, once again, with the numbers that are on the table right now, we're starting at 3. Along with the 1.3 sales tax allocation, you're at 4.3. You need about 4.7 and $22 to start making that trend. That being said, 4.3 is going to substantially slow down or stabilize that condition. You may not be making headway, but you're going to stabilize the condition. You're going to see a lot of work out in the community based on that amount. But relating to a phased approach, Mr. Haverlaw, I don't believe we received that direction.
But that's something we could consider after. We can make a decision, and if we're talking 8 or whatever that dollar is, and we can start to put the groundwork for a phased approach going forward to get us where we need to be. I think knowing that, the public might be able to stomach that a little better. That's just my thought.
And if you don't mind me responding, Mayor.
Go ahead.
The phased approach, this street maintenance utility, based on what we've prepared and what we've presented, quite honestly is a phased approach because it's not going to generate the revenue sufficient based on the studies we completed to get us to the 70 PCI in 10 years. That was the goal. That was what council said, this is what we would like to see. But even based on the information we presented in the town halls, it's not going to get us there. What we get to decision number 3, which is the non-residential fee, which again, that was the number one concern that we heard in the town halls. And the alternate that we're going to present to council that we've published on the website is not going to get us there in 10 years either. So is it a phased approach? Yeah, absolutely it is. But as Councilmember Smith said, the direction that council gives us, one, you've already given us direction that we should proceed. So we're proceeding. And whatever direction you give us on the residential fee, and then eventually the non-residential fee and exemptions and the information in the ordinance, it's more than where we're at right now. And we will see each year that we present to council, this is what we accomplished, this was the revenue that was brought in to accomplish the work that we did. You're going to start seeing as the governing body how successful the street maintenance utility is. We've already talked about the fact that we started with the 60 PCI at the beginning of 2022. We're at the middle of 2025, almost towards the end of 2025 now, and we've already dropped to a 58 PCI. And that's with doing some level of work over those years, but we're still seeing that slip. So I understand that you're saying, let's come out with a more formal approach, and that's great. We can definitely do that. But I think for the facts of what we've presented and what we've gone through, it's clearly a phased approach. Yes.
And I didn't mean to get us off track. I apologize for that. Because we need to make a decision.
If I'm understanding everything, 4.3 just keeps us where we are. At 60.
Well, it's somewhere in that range. So the 4.6, again, 2022 dollars, which equates to probably about 5.2 at this point. 4.3 is going to go a long way to maintaining that level that we have now and potentially making a little bit of headway. That hasn't been modeled or analyzed, but it starts you doing a lot more than what we've been doing now, or what we have the resources to do now to start making some headway.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Scott, I have a question. If we change this dollar value from $10 to anything else that's lower than 10, are we going to be able to meet that 10-year goal of 70% with this $10 number?
No, even with this $10 number based on the current draft, you'll only recover that $3 million.
Okay, so that means that right now we're looking at a 20-year plan to get up to 70% PCI.
Potentially 15, 20 years, yeah.
And if we lower it, we're just stretching that out
We're
further.
just dragging it out.
That is
Pushing it
a
down.
correct statement.
And how long has street maintenance been deferred through different city councils over the past, let's say, 20 years?
And I've only been here 5.
Okay.
All I'm familiar with is the budget that I manage through my streets department. Back in '22, that budget was about 1.7 million. After that, it is increased and decreased based on the reserves we had generated from the sales tax, and ultimately utilized for projects. As you're aware, in this adopted fiscal year budget, there is zero indicated outside of basic operation and maintenance, the day-to-day activities of that street maintenance crew. So in essence, this year is at $1.3 million. You're not going to see very little headway, if anything, out there.
Okay. So we're going to maintain what we have today if we lower this $10 amount. We're going to be worse off.
Right,
And
based on
we're
all
looking at
of the
20 or
numbers.
30 years
Right.
or 40 years.
At the $10 amount, yeah, you're getting close to that goal that city council set in terms of funding. that will decrease that, that trend upwards. By how much, I haven't run that analysis at this point, but it would trend up based on that 4.3, just not as significantly as the 4.6.
Thanks, Scott.
This has been I want to say more like a two-phased approach in that we only can, revenue is only X number of dollars. And so we've had deferred maintenance on our infrastructure as far as water and sewer. And roads is another component of that. The water and sewer has demanded that we put more resources towards getting those items taken care of, because they are critical to our infrastructure and our growth. Roads, you kind of play with a little bit in that, some of it's going to get pushed down the road, deferred, let me put it that way. You know where I was going. But the bottom, so the bottom line is you only have so much resources to make the things work that need to work. And we are a growing city, and we have had to put a lot of money into our infrastructure as far as water, sewer, everything else that involves in our wastewater system and everything else. And so now we're trying to catch up a little bit with roads. And it's going to take an effort to maintain where we are, not only maintain where we are, but to meet the growth that happens. One of the comments that was made was that we couldn't, if small businesses were going to close, and I'm not going to say whether that will or won't happen, but I will say that everybody can be a realist and realize that if the roads are in bad shape, you're not going to attract new businesses, and you're not going to make your community grow. So they all go hand in hand with making things happen. And our city has done a lot with less. But the time has come to where we're trying to address what's going to happen between now and in the future. Things that were done years, decades ago, decisions that were made decades ago are kind of coming full term, and we're having to deal with that. And we're trying to deal with that the best that we possibly can. So I just want to get that out there so that people understand that it's not just willy-nilly, that this has been a process of allocating funds to things that are needed the most first to make sure that we function as a city the way that it should. Kirby, was that a good enough sermon there? Close. Okay. So, where do we go?
Mr.
Council.
Mayor, I would just like to say that I support $10 and I am willing to go down to $8.
Okay, everybody okay?
I'll support
With
8.
leaving it at 10 right now, going through the rest of the decision-making process?
Yeah,
We
we'll
good
leave
with
it at
that?
10.
Everybody good? Okay.
So that was 8.
Leaving it at 10.
Leaving it at 10 for now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving quickly into decision 3. This is, as we've stated, the biggest area of concern that was advanced during the town halls through the individual correspondence, et cetera. What you will see here is the current rate structure. On the left here, you see the bands 1 through 11. You see the caps on those bands, and also the average trips associated with those bands. And the billed trips correspond to those average trips. That results in the current draft fees, which has received a lot of concern, obviously, especially as you go lower on this, this scale down to an ultimate cap as City Council established at a $2,500 fee. Various points that were brought up during the town hall really related to the equitability of this $2,500 artificial cap, and that was very well received by city staff because ultimately this $2,500 cap benefits the largest business in town the most. That cap, the benefit of that cap was not carried throughout the rest of these bands as we went up to a base fee amount of $20. So with that, the amount between the largest company's actual generated trips, which was about 1169, and the amount here is about 250. That equates to approximately 79%. Actually, the inverse figure here is 0.2138. So city staff's proposal, and I've discussed this with Mr. Haverlaw and a couple members of City Council, is to take this amount, this 0.2138, and move that benefit throughout these non-residential bands. In essence, what that does, it takes it from a fee of $18.25 down to $3.90 on that top end. The $2,500 would be the actual times that multiplier, and so forth and so on, down to basically a minimum fee of $20 that would include the first three bands. With that, going back to the comparison that we saw earlier, right now, Copperas Cove on the left at the current rate structure fee, compared to these three communities, and this is the result on this side of what that comparison would look like after that one revision would be made. So with that, that is one way to equitably and proportionally carry that reduction throughout those bands, again, to attempt to bring those bands back down to an amount that would likely be a lot more received on the in this non-residential community. So going through that, if that alternate rate structure was adopted, you see I've highlighted bands 1 through 3 through 6. The maximum on band 6 would be $72.70 per month. This represents about almost 80% of all non-residential customers would be below that 72. For the $20, the minimum, you're looking at about half of the non-residential entities would be at that amount. As you ratchet up to the bands 9, some of the heavier trip generators in town, you see the customer accounts start to significantly drop. Band 9, for instance, has 29 businesses falling within that range. Bands 10 and 11, there's approximately 18 businesses that fall into those highest two tiers. So with that, that is the proposal that city staff would like City Council to discuss at this point and see if that's maybe moving in the right direction, or if you have any questions about that analysis.
Council.
Scott, I do got one question. Could you give me an example between band 7 and up to band 11?
Band 7 and band 11?
Right, from 7 to 11.
Okay.
Are you saying what would be an example of band 7?
What would be an example?
Band 7, as you see over here, you have approximately 61.3 average trips. You'd basically be looking at a smaller restaurant, with about 1,500 square feet, approximately that number. A band, what was your other one you said, band 11?
Yeah, 7 all the way down to 11.
11 would be your H-E-B, would be your Synergy, would be your Walmart, some of the larger gas stations in town with the multiple fuel pumps, because that's what that trip generation is based on in the current analysis.
Okay, what would be a business example for 8, 9, and 10?
I would have to go back to the analysis to tell you those specific businesses, but basically it's based on that, again, that average trip generation. And each business has been put into the various bands across the board based on their trip generation unit variables.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. So with this, while you're considering that proposal or that analysis, here's some other analysis that really shows another way to show this. You have the number of accounts over here, and you have the relative bands. So you can see primarily that's front end, and then you have basically the amount of that. Correspondingly, you have these bands that make up about that 79.5%. They're within, under that $72 range for this assessment. The net result or the impact of a structure such as this results in an annual net revenue decrease of approximately $1.2 million. That brings that original $3 million down to the figure shown, or about $1.85 million per year. Again, that would be dedicated exclusively for this street maintenance and this effort to start maintaining the city's network more effectively through these additional resources, combined with that sales tax. Again, the concept of this being the total solution, I'd like to bring that up. Potentially, this is not the complete solution to this problem. Potentially, we look at some of these basically failed roadways and package those together in a potential debt issuance that gets us along the way on those projects, with that debt service being paid for out of this street maintenance. It could extend our effectiveness through that. Potentially, as the city continues to grow, there may be an allocation from general fund that eventually could be contributed to this direction. But with that, I just wanted to show you the impact of what that looks like in terms of that revenue impact, and then once again, open it up for questions on your end.
Council, questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have one comment. I do like this, it was what, 21.38% being applied throughout the bands. It seems to really lessen the burden on some of those small businesses that we're speaking of having to go out of business or relocate or sell. So thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
It's significant that based on the 1 through 6 bands, that's 80% of all non-residential accounts. So that's a huge portion of that's showed a significant decrease. I guess my question is, from council standpoint, is this seem like a option that we could live with?
Yes, sir.
Is there another calculation available for us to look at?
We still have another
Yeah.
option. if
I'd
we
like to
can-
look at all the options first.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so this is, you're right, I forgot about option 2. We're going to get into option 2 now. Okay, so let's see. Along with, my apologies, along with that option 1 that I just presented, I do want to bring up some further adjustments that City Council could make to this model and other adjustments that city staff has already taken the lead on making these adjustments. The first one is the concept of a bypass single-family equivalent trip reduction. What bypass trips are, they are recognized by some transportation engineers to further offset the generated trips from specific segments of businesses, and I've indicated a variety of what those would look like. And that's based on the concept of a bypass trip. If you think of a bypass trip, for example, somebody leaves their home, they're going to H-E-B. On the way, they stop by, they get a coffee, they fill up with gas, but then continue on their way to their primary destination. That trip to that gas station or even a daycare to drop your children off is not counted, and that's where these bypass single-family trip reductions come into play. The reason these are not factored into a lot of these types of analysis are really the sparsity of actual reliable survey data. There is bypass numbers in the ITE manual. However, the surveys that were conducted, they were conducted on a very limited basis, and they're quite aged. That being said, other communities such as Killeen, such as Waco, utilize these to really tailor these rate structures to their community. So from city staff's perspective, we're looking at potentially a reduction further of that single-family equivalent trip generation by the percentages shown for basically the entities shown. In essence, there's about, all in, there's about 70 businesses that this would directly affect with that offset. The total net annual revenue reduction based on this, along with option 1, if you were to move forward with option 1 and then do this as well, would be another $144,000 annually per year to make these adjustments. However, as you look at some of these daycares, for example, the city currently has 10 daycares. If you think about how a daycare works, a lot of that is that bypass scenario where you drop your kids off, you move on to work, or you move on to H-E-B or go do your shopping or something of that nature. Similar to these other ones, restaurants with and without drive-throughs. Maybe you're stopping at McDonald's on your way to the mall or H-E-B or something of that effect. So these corresponding amounts have been pulled out of that ITE, and they've also been based on corresponding or neighboring communities, what they did with their percentages. So it's to really massage within these bands these type of nuances. So with that, the other thing we're looking at here is a trip generation focus. Originally, if you recall, this rate structure, this model was based on the way the city set up the drainage utility. So the accounts that, excuse me, were assessed that drainage utility were the baseline for this analysis. But looking at the purpose of the drainage utility, and that's to really assess for that impervious cover or that increased stormwater the city has to manage, this relates to trips. So assessing this fee to a overall property owner through a master meter account isn't as applicable as, say, a drainage fee would be on that basis. There's a lot of uses around town, for example, in Town Center or Colonial Plaza, where you have one big property owner, and then you have individual businesses that have their own individual water meters and their own utility bills. If you assess it to the big property owner, basically, they're being assessed based on the entirety. But what happens when their units go vacant? I.e., there's no trip generation happening at that section, but their fee would remain the same. If you assess this against the actual unit leaseors, that's going to reflect those vacancy rates over time, and that's a similar thing with multifamily. We have a couple large complexes in town that have those individual water meters and utility accounts with their residents rather than that property owner. So that's something city staff has continued to work on into this model, but I wanted you to be aware of it. We believe that's a better way to get at that situation. And finally, in practice, the appeals process, and we've had various discussions with a variety of different businesses. You know, one of the overall things is not every auto parts sales and service store is the same. Not every coffee shop is the same. Just like to remind City Council that we do have this draft provision, the appeals process, in the draft ordinance. As you can see down here, one of the reasons they can apply for one is to demonstrate that the category of land use or quantity of use variables used in calculating the fee for the benefited property is incorrect. City staff's position is that we should encourage these appeal processes to really get down to what is the nature of that business. For example, we have a coffee shop up on North Main that, although it's a relatively large business or large building, the coffee shop portion of it is a very small footprint. If you actually go in there, they don't serve much coffee each day. So if we look at the reality of that building, really that assessment should be more limited to the square footage of that operation as that may develop over time. So those are some of the things that city staff wants to have the discretion, and it's in this draft ordinance, to marry up reality with what we're reflecting here. Are there any questions on the bypass? Trip reductions or the trip generation or the appeals process?
The one question I have is, so the little coffee shop on Main compares directly to like a Starbucks?
Yes, ma'am.
They would have had the same fee?
Very close. Yes, ma'am. And again, that doesn't reflect the reality of what's happening here.
Right.
So I think that would be. Unless there are specific questions on these, we can move into option 2 and then bounce back here, and I can get this direction on this.
Hey, Scott, can you back up to the rate structure with the different bands? Yeah, that one right there is good. Mr. Treadaway asked for some examples, and I only have a few. But band 6, that would include Spicer's, Nelson Brew Works, Cove Theater, Urban Ernie's. Band 7 would include Mr. Car Wash, House on Main, but we just talked about that one. Band 9 would include Black Meg.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So if I may proceed to option 2 for the alternate funding for the non-residential. It was asked that we take a look at just simply establishing a monthly fee of $20 across all non-residential uses, similar to what you see in Lampasas, that establishes one fee for residents, one fee for commercial, and it's all the same, currently set at $7 per utility account. So if you look at $20 per month across 494 non-residential accounts, that generates approximately that $9,800 per month, or about $118,500 per year. This would reduce the current model's net revenue by about $1.5 million. It would also change the proportionality from its current amount, which is about 50-50 based on the draft. But the proportionality would be residential would be contributing 92.6 versus 7.4%, and would generate only approximately $1.4 million annually. So with that, I'll stop there and open it up for questions.
Mr. Mayor, I do got
Yes.
one question for Scott. This is reference to the school district. Do you know exactly how many campuses they have?
I believe it's
11? Thank you.
Yeah.
So that would be $20 per campus then.
And again, we may want to talk about that in the exemption category, revisiting that exemption category.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Where would the school district fall in option 1?
In option 1, let's see, they would, and Ryan, do you want to, I guess, take a segue and talk about our discussion with the superintendent?
Yeah, if we were to simply apply the options to CCISD as it currently sits, yeah, they would fall into band 11 for all their campuses based on the square footage that exists and the participation that exists in all those schools. But we have already sat down with Dr. Hawkins and had a direct discussion with him. And that actually will apply in Decision 4 on exemptions, where we need to have a more direct discussion about CCISD in particular. It is a governmental entity. It is a taxing entity, so some direct consideration council needs to give to that organization. So if we could hold off on further discussing that till we get the exemptions, I think we could get through decision number 3 first.
So is the question, do we want to consider a flat $20 fee, or go back to the scenario that you had that kind of modified?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Option.
I'm for alternate funding option 2.
I support.
is-
$20 flat fee?
Yes.
I support.
Support.
Okay, Scott, based on this option here, we're taking a 10-year plan and turning it into a 50-year plan?
It would have to be based on what additional resources the city's able to develop. Right now with the 1.4, combine that with the 1.3, you're sitting at 2.7. You're, even on that 22 numbers, you're undershooting what you need by $2 million per year to make that incline to the goal that City Council established at that 70 PCI.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I know this is not a perfect plan, and I understand that, but at least this is a start to get us down the road and then come back in the future and relook at this.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would just like to say, when we actually put down we wanted to go to 70, that was like the top that we could actually go. That was just something to see, let's just throw out numbers, so it doesn't, we were at anywhere like at 60, at that time, we were at a 65?
60.
A 60?
And
Okay.
what, 58?
So we could have actually directed the city to go maybe 68 or 67, and those numbers would have looked differently. But since we directed them just to do 70, that's why we see these large numbers. And so for right now, for a non-residential, a flat fee of $20 and residential, I'm basically support the residential for $10 as well.
So you're in favor of the residential at $10,
In the non-residential for $20.
and so the residential is
flat
going to carry 92.6% of the burden, and non-residential businesses will carry 7.4%. Is that, am I
I'm
reading
not-
that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not in favor, I don't like the looks of that percentage. But that's the actuality of it, I get that.
I don't, I'm kind of missing where that's very fair.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'm more in favor of the option one where it's tiered in that large percentage rate that the biggest ones is inferred across the board so that bands 1 through 6 or 1 through 3 are at $20 and I'm in favor of that.
Which is 80% of the
Yes.
businesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I am also in favor of option one.
I'm in favor of option one.
I'm in favor of option one.
Option one. All the way back.
Do we have calculations of what the burden is on residential versus commercial on option one?
Let me pull up something else here real quick and see if I can get you to it.
Thank you.
As you can see, that basically this is in a secondary draft model that reflects the same amounts that we were looking at. If you look at over here, you basically have annual, you'd have about 1.3 million on residential and about 602. Again, this model is not complete. It overstates this revenue by approximately $85,000 because that last band has not been modified to reflect the scenario presented. But the percentages are basically 2 to 1 here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and just some quick math based on what's in there is that's fairly accurate with what Scott has just presented.
Right. Does that address your question?
Looking at that model where it says the net revenues for the unbanded, right above it,
Yes.
what does that mean?
That is if we did not establish bands and it was a straight calculation based on actual individual trip generation.
So that's the original number.
That's the original number before it was placed into bands, correct? So that is, based on this $10 fee, that is the maximum amount this program could recover as originally configured.
Comments?
I have a comment. In attending all the meetings, I did hear on several occasions, many of the business owners were in favor of paying some sort of fee. And as long as they had time for the business to assess the fee going forward into the future, knowing that this would be a permanent, lasting, possibly increasing fee, a majority of the people I spoke to were okay with it, in the understanding it was going only to street maintenance.
Yeah. Okay, John, you said you were in favor of rate structure option one.
Option one is, are these numbers with or without this bypass rate?
No, the numbers that are shown are not incorporating this, so those bands would be further, segments of those bands would be further reduced based on those trip reductions here. So we would make those final calculations if City Council would like me to across those industries, and ultimately provide that in the final analysis if we move forward to that October 21st calculation. So it would be calculated and put in those packets if that's your direction.
And there's no bypass trip reduction for grocery stores?
No, ma'am, there wasn't.
So can we get a with and without, option one with and without the bypass?
Yeah, you just subtract 144,000.
It's subtract
Okay, so-
144.
Okay.
I like to add the bypass with option one.
Anybody else? Questions, comments?
I support the second option, Mr. Mayor.
Support option 2, the $20 flat fee?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Sean, you said option 1 with the bypass?
Option one with the bypass.
Okay.
Straight up option one for me,
Option 1 with, without bypass?
without.
Without bypass, straight option 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Option one with bypass.
Okay. Keeping it below those?
Yes, sir.
I can't add that.
Option one without the bypass.
Option 1 straight.
Straight.
Dale? Number 8, option 2?
Option two, Mr. Mayor.
Option 2, Mr. Mayor.
I still support option 2, but if I have to, if it goes the other way, I'd rather have the bypass also.
Okay.
When it comes to us, I mean, it's already for the
Well,
option
there's
1.
4 that they're saying option 1.
Right,
You're saying with bypass.
with bypass.
You're saying without.
If that's gonna be my only option.
Can we live with bypass?
Sure.
Okay. Option 1 with bypass.
Track 'em. Okay, and I appreciate council staying with me here. We're getting close to the end on these discussions. As we discussed just briefly earlier, through this town hall public engagement, there were requests for city council to reconsider the direction it provided to city staff back in February of '24 relating to exemptions. As you recall, the draft ordinance currently has no exemptions except for city facilities. But considerations that came up at those town halls and also through those individual meetings are listed to include governmental entities such as CCISD, county, state, and federal entities, nonprofit entities, which would include your churches, your other nonprofit entities, 501, 3C, new businesses. One concept that came up is maybe there is a limited period of time, whether that's a year or two, when new businesses come to town where they would be exempted from this fee until that business started to establish itself. That type of exemption is provided in a couple of these analysis in other communities within Texas. It's not across the board by any means, or any other exemptions that were brought to city council's consideration or attention that they would like to revisit. But I would like to touch on governmental entities and just reiterate what Mr. Haverlaw stated about these type of entities. When you have CCISD and they have 11 schools and various other facilities, bus barns, et cetera, that generate traffic on top of that, their direct trip generation is by and far the hugest or the largest traffic generator operation in this city. In excess of, basically 2,100 single-family equivalent trips. If you did the straight math on that, that's, 21,000 per month. Over the course of the year, that's 144. We sat down with Dr. Brent Hawkins, and we talked to him about the concept of this program, talked to him about potentially an artificial cap with the school district set at $5,000 per month for those discussion purposes. Mr. Hawkins was very candid with Ryan and myself about the state of CCISD's budgetary limitations and really what amount they have left of just kind of quote-unquote discretionary funds for other purposes. He made the equation, if we were at 5,000 assessed per year, that's about 60,000 per year. Dr. Hawkins equated that to a teacher's salary. So obviously that is the reality of what this looks like on CCISD. As Ryan had mentioned, if this is assessed against another taxing entity, it follows logically that to actually cover this, they need to take care of that through the taxes they impose upon the community. Ultimately, it's a pass-through to the residents of this community based from another taxing entity. I think a similar logic can be followed not only with county facilities, whether that's the county annex, state facilities within the city, or federal facilities such as the post office off of D. That same logic follows with that. So I want City Council's consideration of this potential exemption and any direction you have along there.
Does Killeen exempt KISD?
I believe they do, yes, ma'am. And many communities actually exempt these governmental entities from these models for this reason.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to definitely exempt CCISD and nonprofit entities.
Anybody else? Yes.
I agree, but I also think to attract new businesses, given them that limited time period, might be attractive to them. I don't know if Sean or Fred feel that way, but I like the idea of that. It's limited. They're still going to pay at some point, but I like that to attract growth here.
Do we need to decide that? A year? I mean, do we need, okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to say I am for the exemptions of the CCISD, the nonprofits, and a limited time period for new businesses.
What would that be? A year? 2 years?
I would say add it into when we review, like get a yearly review of how the program is going, how the funds are being utilized. And that would give them a whole year, get settled, know that they're coming in, adjust their base accordingly to be fully prepared for it.
I feel a year would be the good time frame.
I feel 2 would be good.
Do what?
2 years. Only because most businesses fail in the first year, and I don't want to be the cause
That's
of
fair.
that.
That's fair.
Because that would be for also like Tractor Supply, you'd give a 2-year.
I'd let the EDC negotiate that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and agree with the exemptions. But 2 years on a new business is good. But I would suggest we do not come back every year and look at this. Maybe between 3 and 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
What's next?
Mr. Smith, Ms. Hart?
I'm okay with new business exemptions. To be clear, I was only talking about CCISD, not county, state, and federal.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
I'm with you on that as well.
Okay.
Well, let me
Well,
take that back.
that's
I would,
good.
I would say CCISD and county, because those are both taxing entities here for the same reason. But state has already taken enough, and federal definitely takes enough.
I agree with John on that.
Okay. CCISD and county,
I'm good with that.
nonprofit entities. Well, how would you assess whether they're nonprofit or not?
We'll come up with some language to place in the ordinance of requirements to prove and continue to prove that you're a nonprofit entity functioning in accordance with relevant laws.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mayor and Council, it should be consistent with how we do a nonprofit reduction on the rental of the Civic Center, which is documentation that they have an established 501c3.
Would
But-
that apply to a church that had a daycare?
That was my question.
Would that daycare be covered as a 501c3? if
I
it
think
fell
it would
within
be
the church?
based on the primary business or entity of that location.
Got it.
Hey, Scott, I do got one question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say a nonprofit, they rent it out of their house, okay, and they request nonprofit where they don't have to pay. So I'm assuming they don't pay the residential fee either?
Well, we're talking about exemptions, I believe, on the non-residential side. So this would be exclusively for the non-residential
So
side.
actual
they would still
business
pay.
place.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
thank
it
you.
goes back to the primary purpose and use of that property. It's a residential
Right.
property, so they would pay the residential fee.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, I have one more
Yes.
question. Would the appeals process also apply? The appeals process, that also applies throughout, like the exemption process?
The exemption process would be its own process. The appeals process would be, for example, say we have a business identified as general retail and sales. It's actually a nonprofit company that's seeking an exemption. So that company would approach the city either through that appeals process or through, most legitimately, through an exemption process. So there will be language in here about how to obtain that exemption and what that process looks like.
Outside of the appeals process?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we? Go
Okay,
ahead.
so if I, just because this one had multiple items on it, we were
Right,
talking about
right.
multiple things. So I understand there is a consensus on providing an exemption for CCISD and county properties.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
good with that? Okay.
Okay. And that there is a consensus on providing exemptions for nonprofit use properties.
Yes.
Everybody good? Yes?
Oh, okay, okay. And then there's support for exemptions for new businesses. I'm not sure, is it 1 year or 2 years?
I say two.
I'll go with two.
I can support two.
Okay. And
Okay.
as Mr. Osborne is the master at words, we'll come up with language on that.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, decision 5, reaching the final decision here, program evaluation period. Once again, during the town halls, there was a lot of discussion about can this just be limited for a period of years? Can the amount that's assessed be limited for that period? I believe the response provided by Mr. Haverlaw was this city council can adopt anything into its ordinance. However, another city council in the future can change that ordinance. So although there's no way to guarantee, there are other communities that take a look at these type of programs on an annualized or biannual basis, basically to take a look at the metrics or what has been achieved for the revenue that has been secured. So the question is, would city council like a provision placed in this ordinance for city council to review this incrementally on a by-year basis? And the follow-up question would be, what would those reporting requirements be? Because that would come from city staff whenever this period is, as in the form of a presentation to show city council and our citizens what has been accomplished with those funds over a given period.
I'm thinking 2 years, but
Mr.
I think
Mayor?
we, especially to begin with, I think you want to do it pretty short to see the success or failure, and then basically you can adjust based on that.
What is the metric on the success or failure? Well, I mean, what, we've
I think
already,
they
we've
gotta
already
determine
taken
that.
10 years and moved it out to 40. So what is that metric? Or is it a dollar amount spent on roads at this point? Or, because it can't be a PCI. PCI is, I mean, to me, PCI is out of the question with this plan.
Because it can't be achieved.
So yeah, it can't be achieved in this room's lifetime.
So the question would be, go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna be around.
Bite your tongue.
I think 5 years is good.
We're gonna get you for a long time.
And see you in 50 years.
Yeah.
If
Go ahead.
If I made Mr. Hale's point, I believe PCI could still be used as a benchmark in those metrics, because what it's going to show you based on this reduced amount is how far it's come to stabilize an average condition or how far that continues to slide at the end of that period. For example, we started out with about a 60 PCI, we're down to about 58. We have the software to manage that asset, the entire system, and we can make those calculations. Everything we do out in that network is inputted into this database, so it wouldn't be an extreme effort to bring City Council that data and show them what has happened with that PCI.
So we've gone from 60 to 58 in 5 years.
Correct.
And can we look at each year individually and see where that PCI went from a 58.6 to a 58.2 to a 58?
Going forward, we can look at it on an annualized basis to see what that trend looks like.
And is that something that we would evaluate as a city, or we would have to outsource that to somebody to reevaluate?
No, that's something we would evaluate internally, I would say for probably another 3 or 4 years. At some point, we want to reset that analysis to see what the then current condition is to continue to effectively manage that asset. But there will be updates in the future related to that. But I think we're good for another 3 to 4 years in that regard.
So I think that most of the projects we're going to know about, because they're going to be budgeted items that are going to have to be approved.
Yes.
So I think progress, we're going to see that automatically.
You will, but we can summarize and bring it together.
So if we
on a-
just did an annual update on all of the things that were done this fiscal year.
Right.
And then review every, 5 years is what I'm thinking. Because that was only 2% that we went down in 5 years. So I'm thinking, review this every 5 years.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Do we differentiate between a review and an evaluation? A review could be annually with the updates and an annual PCI that they can calculate. and in 5 years, you reevaluate the entire program.
So you outsource that reevaluation?
At that point, you would need to because the
Yeah,
software is
that's what
expired.
Right.
Scott was saying.
Yes. But still have an annual review,
Well, I think we'll get an annual report.
review report. Somebody's gonna report and we're gonna review it.
I'm just using the words on the screen.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, here's my
Reporting
question.
requirements.
Yes.
When you say review report, you're basically stating how much money's come in, where it's spent, what we've got accomplished. That's not counting reviewing the ordinance, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That would be
Just the
done
progress.
on a more, a
So-
longer basis.
So report annually and review the ordinance every 2 years?
Well, I prefer 3, but I can go with 2.
I like 3.
I like 3.
Okay.
Especially the first time out, we could see, we'll be able to kind of get a little bit, an idea of the success of what it's doing, or if there's some tweaking that needs to be done, so everybody's 3
I'll go with that.
for review.
I'm
Okay,
okay with that.
all right.
Okay.
So Mayor, if
Go ahead.
it's okay, I'm just going to summarize real quick. So on decision one, council's overall decision was to proceed with the street maintenance utility program, which includes a fee. On decision two, city council consensus was $10 a month per SFE, single family equivalent. On decision three, there was a not full consensus, but a majority consensus for option one with bypass calculations included. On option four, exemptions for CCISD, county, nonprofit, and new businesses with a 2-year timeline. And then option, decision five was to review the ordinance every 3 years with a annual report. And I would just recommend that that annual report be provided to city council at the budget planning timeline, which is the spring of every year. And all things financial are focused on, including reports and metrics related to those finances. Okay.
Agreed.
All right, thank you. Proceed,
All right.
Scott.
All right.
One last one.
Just to conclude it, this is the last slide. Next steps, put them up on the board. We made it through bullet point 1 tonight. We will revise the draft ordinance based on your direction October 21st. Consider that finalized draft ordinance and associated fee schedule amendment. As we've projected before, start the assessment of this program in January of 2026 at those far reduced rates. And that's if it's adopted in October. And then June 2026, our goal is to start the design of the first package of street rehabilitation projects and get those into construction as soon as possible.
Good.
Any final questions of me?
Anybody?
Appreciate all your
Did
direction.
you have something?
I have one question. I just want to clarify. When I was talking about the residents who possibly can't afford that minimum $10, you said we would revisit it possible during exemptions. Now, would they go through an appeal process? Say, someone elderly living on a fixed disability income that's below poverty.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I got a question. Would there be support for $8? That's my magic number. For the non-resident, for residential. If we
I
had
think
to
it-
change it.
She wants an exemption.
She wants an exemption for,
I stand correct, never mind.
So, Ms. Strophus, in terms of providing an exemption, we previously talked through that a while ago in terms of it's one customer class, which is residential. When consideration for exemptions or discounts are provided, within a customer class, you step outside of state law in regards to other utilities that basically says that you're now discriminating against your base customer class for those that are receiving that discount or exemption that are specifically labeled as or within that residential class. So we previously went through this because the City of Copperas Cove used to provide a discount for those that were seniors or 65 and over on their water utilities in wastewater and solid waste and drainage. We actually went through an entire legal review on that, and City Council, after receiving that legal review, removed that discount because it was considered discriminatory by offering and applying that discount. It's very similar to what you're asking for at this point as well.
Okay,
So-
well then, yes, I can agree with not having a discount
Okay.
after hearing of the review.
There are other avenues for people to apply for assistance and stuff like that, and I think that maybe where that would be heading. Okay. All right, anything else? Council, this has been a very long and very sensitive and very, but a very, very necessary process. And I appreciate and applaud all of you for making important decisions for this, for our citizens, and for the future of Copperas Cove. So, thank you. All right, and thank you, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
All right, the time is 7:29. We will adjourn the workshop, and we will begin the regular meeting at 7:40. Good evening. Regular council meeting for the City of Copperas Cove held October 7th, 2025 is called to order at 7:43 PM. Please stand for the invocation by Mr. Haverlaw, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me as you will. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for your grace and mercy in all of our lives, Lord. Pray, Heavenly Father, over this governing body that you give them wisdom and knowledge on the decisions that they make for our community, for the betterment of our future. Pray also, Heavenly Father, that you watch over all of our residents, those who are serving our residents, and those in our state and federal positions that are also serving our country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the state flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please be seated. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mayor Yancey.
Here.
Christina Strophus.
Here.
Rita Hogan.
Here.
Sean Alzona.
Here.
John Hale.
Here.
Del Treadway.
Here.
Vanya Hart.
Here.
Jack Smith.
Here.
All right, we go to item D, announcements.
None for me, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Hogan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to invite everybody to the 30th anniversary of the Cove House. They have their annual banquet on November the 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. It is our biggest annual fundraiser, and we invite everyone to be there. You can get tickets or tables at covehouse.org.
Okay.
Nothing this time, Mr. Mayor.
Ryan?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to give a huge thanks to the Copperas Cove Police Department for organizing, coordinating the National Night Out kickoff party this past Saturday downtown. It was one of the most highly attended events we've had, with a lot of great engagement and communication with our residents. So very specific thank you to Lieutenant Baker on all the work that she did with that. This Saturday, beginning at 9 a.m., Copperas Cove Fire Department will be having an open house at Central Fire Station. So a lot of great activities and learning what the fire department does, how they provide services to our residents, and a lot of fun activities for kids. At 10 a.m. at Ogletree Gap is the Heritage Festival hosted by the Copperas Cove Historical Society. And then next Saturday on the 18th of October at 10 a.m., Keep Copperas Cove Beautiful is holding the Eco Harvest event that will also be out at Ogletree Gap, and I encourage all residents to go and learn about sustainability and recycling and reuse out there at that event. It'll be a lot of fun as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
I have something, excuse me. The Friends of Central Texas State Veterans Cemetery would like to present the wreath preparation, calling everyone to come out from the community for volunteering for the wreath preparation Saturday, November 22nd at 10 a.m. Then the wreath laying ceremony on Saturday, November 29th at 10 a.m. Wreath retrieval is at Saturday, January 10 at 10 a.m. And for more information, you can go to www.wreathsforvets.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
No announcements.
Okay. All right, we move to item E, Citizens Forum.
At this time, citizens will be allowed to speak for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes per person on any item which is listed on the agenda and items not listed on the agenda. 30 minutes total has been allotted for this section. Pursuant to Section 551.042 of the Texas Open Meetings Act, any deliberation or decision about the subject of inquiry which is not listed on the agenda shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
All right, is there anyone to speak during Citizens Forum?
My name is Dennis Huddleston. I live at 2118 Urbanky Lane here in Cove. what I'm here to speak about is just recently we had this severe hailstorm that came through our area. There was damage to my car, and when I got it back from the body shop, the bill totaled a little over $11,000 in repairs. And we also all know what the sun does to our paint job and our car interior, you know, fading it out and making it bad. So I figured my answer was, let's erect a carport over my driveway to protect the car from the elements. Well, I called a handyman. He came out. He said, okay, I can put you have a 2-car driveway. I can put a carport over it. Gave me a price, sounded reasonable. He went down to the building department. He was told the restriction was I was not allowed to have a carport. And even then, the requirements were it had to be attached to the dwelling, could be no longer than 10 feet long. My car is longer than 10 feet long, so it wouldn't do much to help keep the car in check. So I was also told I could apply for a variance to the ordinance, but I talked to one person online and they said, yes, that's true. If you apply for a variance, the cost could be up to $300. And if the variance is not allowed, the city keeps the $300, which to me seems a little unfair. If you apply for something and can't get it, you shouldn't have to pay the money. Also, along with that, if the ordinance were to be changed and car parts would be allowed, I would think there would have to be certain standards. That is, the carport would have to either be a kit, like from Lowe's or Home Depot, that you put together, but a professional style kit, or you would have a contractor come out and erect it and meet whatever standards the city would set. Not, something, throw together some 2x4s and some plexiglass or whatever. We need to have a professional looking, situation. But I think having a carport, like in my case, my car is by no means a classic. However, my 2020 car is the last year of production for that make and model. So it, in the long run, I want to keep it as in good a shape as possible. And this to me is the simple solution, putting under a carport where I can protect my car. Thank you very much.
All right, is there anyone else to speak during Citizens Forum? Anyone else to speak during Citizens Forum? All right, we will move to item F, consent agenda.
All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item 1, consideration and action on approval of City Council workshop meeting minutes for September 16, 2025. Lisa Wilson, City Secretary. Item 2, consideration and action on approval of City Council regular meeting minutes for September 16, 2025. Lisa Wilson, City Secretary. Item 3, consideration and action on authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Utility Engineering Group, PLLC, for the design, bidding, and construction phase services for the Killeen Cove 20 transmission line replacement Phase 2 project. Scott Osborne, Assistant City Manager, Director of Public Works. Item 4, consideration and action authorizing the city manager to execute acceptance of a utility easement agreement by Fieldstone, Inc. to facilitate the development of a 4,950 square foot retail building by Fahim Khan located at 2332 FM 1113, Coppers Cove, Texas. Bobby Lewis, Development Services Director. Item 5, consideration and action authorizing the city manager to execute acceptance of a utility easement agreement by Tractor Supply Company of Texas LP for the development of a 24,000 square foot retail store located at 917 West Business 190, Coppers Cove, Texas. Bobby Lewis, Development Services Director. And item 6, consideration and action on granting Councilmember Vanya Hart an excused absence. Vanya Hart, place 6.
All right, council, is there any item you wish to pull and consider separately from the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
recommend approve the consent agenda items F1 through F6.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Treadway, seconded by Mr. Hale. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We move to item G, public hearings.
A governmental body shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on an agenda for an open meeting of the body to address the body regarding the item at the meeting before or during the body's consideration of the item. Item 1, the first of two public hearings to consider the Mashburn Drive Expansion Project annexation requested by the Coppers Cove Economic Development Corporation and James W. Clark II and Wesley Atkinson, consisting of 112.38 acres of land situated in the Richard Hallmark Survey, Abstract 466, the William Haddam Survey, Abstract 454, and the C.G. Bennett Survey, Abstract 1680, and the James A. Wells Survey, Abstract 1065, and a portion of U.S. Highway 190 located southwest of Old Coppers Cove Road and Mashburn Drive in the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the City of Coppers Cove, Carroll County, Texas. Bobby Lewis, Development Services Director.
All right, this is a public hearing. The time is 7:55. We will begin the public hearing.
Thank you, Lisa. Mayor Sacco. Turn that, okay. Mayor and council, on June 3rd, 2025, City Council authorized the city manager to execute a development and annexation agreement between the City of Coppers Cove, the Economic Development Corporation, and James Clark and Wesley Atkins, otherwise known as the Mashburn Drive Expansion Project. On June 4th, 2025, the city provided a written notice of municipal annexation to TxDOT to annex a portion of the U.S. Highway 190 that is contiguous and parallel to the city's boundary and to the Mashburn Drive Expansion Project. This is the first of two public hearings required by the Texas Local Government Code to receive comments regarding the annexation request. City Council is to open the public hearing and then receive public comments. Staff recommends City Council open the public hearing, receive any public comments. After closing the public hearing, no action is to be taken, nor is deliberation necessary.
All right, is there anyone to speak on this matter before City Council? One more time. Anyone to speak on this matter before City Council? All right, then this, yes, come ahead.
Okay, can you please come to the microphone and provide your comment?
What is it that they wanted to put there?
So their proposal is to bring in industry. There's going to be a follow-up rezoning and FLUP amendment application coming into the Planning Commission and onto City Council if this annexation is approved. And so there's a portion want this to be retail commercial, a portion light industrial, and then heavy industrial.
Okay, so retail. and
Retail on the
industrial.
corner, yes. Mhm.
Okay, retail and industrial, no housing areas?
This is not part of that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, did you, for the record, go ahead and state your name and address.
Melody and Squires. Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Okay, this is the first public hearing, so there's no action to be taken. There'll be one more public hearing, I assume, at the next meeting. Bobby, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, this time is 7:58. We'll close the public hearing. All right, we move to item H, action items.
Item 1, consideration and action on evaluating the services and reappointment of Municipal Court Judge F.W. Bill Price. Juanita Epperson, Court Administrator.
Good evening,
There we
Council,
go.
Mayor, City Manager. This evening, talking in reference to Coppers Cove appointed
Judge Price back on December the 15th, 1992, and he's actually been reappointed each year since, as required by Texas Government Code, Chapter 29, Section 005. And also, the governing body also does an annual evaluation of the municipal court judge, as required by the city charter, Section 5.03. Texas Government Code, Chapter 29, Section 005 states that the judge of the municipal court serves for a term of 2 years unless the municipality provides for a longer term pursuant to Article 11, Section 11 of the Texas Constitution. The municipal court judge who is not reappointed by the 91st day following the expiration of the term of office shall, absent by the appointment authority, continue to serve for another term of office beginning the date of the previous term's expiration. City Charter Section 5.03 requires that the mayor and city council to evaluate the municipal judge annually, and each council member and the mayor shall sign the evaluation. As such, an evaluation form is attached for the governing body. At this time, city staff recommends that the governing body evaluate the municipal court judge as required by Section 5.3 of the city charter. Staff further recommends that the governing body take one of the following 3 actions on the appointment of the municipal court judge. 1, reappoint F.W. Bill Price for another 2-year term. 2, remove F.W. Bill Price as municipal court judge. Or 3, take no action on reappointment of the municipal court judge, in which F.W. Price on the 91st day following October the 17th, 2025, will automatically serve for another term of office beginning on the date of the previous term's expiration.
All right. Mr. Price, would you like to say a few comments?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, city manager, I want to express to you my gratitude for having been allowed to serve as the city judge for 33 years now, 32 years. Anyway, a long time. We try to run the court as a fair and just operation so that citizens feel like they've been justly treated when they live here or when they leave here, and that they know that there is a point at which there is room for mercy. My goal as a judge is to try to bring people into compliance with the law. And for that reason, sometimes we take alternative routes that may not be obvious to other people, but that's the goal, is I want you legal. If you're driving without a license, I'm going to give you a chance to get a license. Okay? There are some other things that we can't be so merciful about, like insurance. We can't have a lot of room to play there. But we can find ways around a lot of things to attain the goal of justice and mercy in one operation. Thank you for letting me serve these many years, and I hope you'll let me serve a couple more.
All right. Council, you have any questions or comments for Judge Price? Okay. So before you, there are 3 actions to be taken. As stated, reappoint Judge Price for another 2-year term, remove Judge Price as municipal court judge, or take no action. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint F.W. Bill Price for another 2-year term as municipal court judge.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Smith, I think, and second by Mr. Hale, or barely beat you.
Mr. Office, either one.
All right, any other discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
can we amend the motion to also approve the evaluation form for Judge Price as well, which needs to be signed by the council also?
I'll amend my motion to approve his evaluation and sign the form.
Still second.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor,
Yes.
with that action, we do have the evaluation form, and we'll be passing that down the dais. So as we are continuing through the items, council members, if you'll please sign so that we can provide that to the city secretary. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, we move to item H2.
Consideration and action on resolution number 2025-23, nominating candidates for the Board of Directors for the Coryell Central Appraisal District. Mitch Fast, RPA, Chief Appraiser for the Coryell Central Appraisal District.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and Mr. City Manager. My name is Mitch Fast. I work for the Coryell Central Appraisal District, and I want to come here to provide any assistance that the City Council might require to make their decision on who they may want to nominate for the position of Board of Directors. As you may know, that the local taxing jurisdictions are responsible for appointing 5 members of the county to provide leadership assistance as board members of the appraisal district. In 2023, the process changed for counties that were larger than 75,000 people, and that impacted Coryell County. And what used to be a process and basically requiring 5 members to be appointed on a every 2-year basis has changed to where there'll be 5 members appointed with staggered 4-year terms. Up for election in 2025 are 2 members to serve a 2026 and 2027 term. A member can be any citizen of Coryell County that has lived here for over 2 years and has no back taxes or delinquent taxes that they're aware of. Other than that, the local taxing jurisdictions are entitled to nominate anybody they see fit. I'm then to put together a ballot of all the nominated candidates and provide the ballot to the local taxing jurisdictions, at which time they will vote on those members, and then declare the winner based on who gets the most votes. So that's a process that's pretty similar to what you've done in the past. However, there are a few nuances that are different now, and if there's any questions on that process, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you tonight.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Mr. Fast?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to nominate Fred Chavez to be on the ballot for the Coryell Central Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? None? Okay. So we have one.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
do have a question. So this election is just for 2 directors, correct?
Correct.
In the whole county, whole appraisal district?
This election will appoint 2 members to serve 4-year terms.
Yes.
I think I mentioned 2-year terms earlier, and that was probably a mistake, but it would be a 4-year term. There will be 3 members appointed in 2 years.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
If I'm seeing this page here on, from the appraisal district, it says appointed members are, and then there are 2 that come up this year, Inez Faison and Kevin George. Is that right?
Yes, sir. They serve
those are-
1-year terms, and they will not reserve unless they're nominated and win the
Okay.
votes.
So we could nominate 2.
You can nominate up to 2 members, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification. Is there any other nominations?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Inez Faison.
Second.
So we have two, and we can elect two, or nominate two.
You can nominate two, yes, sir.
Okay, and do we need to vote as a
I will
body?
send a ballot out with all the nominated candidates, and you can apply your votes to those candidates however you see fit at that
Okay,
time.
so right now you just need the two nominees.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Mayor, action needs to be taken to approve the attached resolution with the names of the nominees.
okay, so is there someone to approve the resolution 2025-23 with the two nominated names? Mr. Smith?
Yes, hold on. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-23 with the two nominees, Fred Chavez and Inez Faison.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Smith, seconded by Ms. Hart. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. All right, now we move to item H3.
Consideration and action on resolution number 2025-25, nominating candidates for the Board of Directors for the Lampasas Central Appraisal District. Juan Salcedo, Chief Appraiser for the Lampasas Central Appraisal District.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Manager. My name is Juan Salcedo. I'm the newly appointed Chief Appraiser for Lampasas CAD. Very similar to Coriel. Ours is a little different. We have 5 members coming up for election, and it's a 2-year term. So it'll be 26, 27 term. We tried to get on a staggered term, but we missed that. We missed that time frame. But we're hoping to fix that in the next year or so. So we're looking for, you can nominate anywhere between 1 to 5 members.
Okay. I'm sorry, do you have anything else? Anything else, sir?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time.
So based on the 25 allocation of votes within the appraisal district, the city of Copperas Cove has 162 votes? Is that
That's correct.
And it takes 834 to elect.
Yes, at this time, we're just looking for nominations.
Right, I got it.
Yeah.
Council? 1 to 5 nominees. Anybody? Mr. Smith?
I don't have a nominee.
Oh, thought you were reaching to say something. Anybody? Was somebody going to say something? Okay. All right. No nominees.
I don't know anybody that wants it.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know anybody that wanted it.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, that's,
Yeah. Oh, they have to.
this is not a application process like we normally see for, so
Right.
we don't get to screen anybody or see anybody unless we know somebody.
Right.
Right. I don't know anybody.
And they have to live in that county,
I have to live in Lampasas County.
which is the very far west side.
Ryan lives in Lampasas County. In the city of Copperas Cove, I might add. Can we nominate Ryan Haverlaw?
I can't be nominated as an employee of the governing body.
Okay, well, that's out then.
You got lucky. I said he got lucky.
Yeah. Okay. So it appears that we're not going to nominate anybody.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we move to item H4.
Consideration and action on appointments to the Board of Adjustment to fill Place 3 and Place 5. Bobby Lewis, Development Services Director.
Thank you, Lisa, Mayor and Council. In an effort to obtain qualified applicants, a vacancy announcement was released to the media, and staff received 2 applications from Elizabeth Gillick and Melanie Squires for appointment to the Board of Adjustment to fill vacancies in places 3 and 5. The Board of Adjustment appointments are on staggered terms. The Place 3 and Place 5 have an expiration date of September 19th, 2027. With that, staff recommends City Council review the applications submitted for appointment to the Board of Adjustments to fill Places 3 and 5.
All right, council, any questions for Bobby? Okay, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Elizabeth Margaret Gaelick for one of the positions.
You want a specific? Place 3 or 5?
Place 3.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Is there any nomination for place 5?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'll nominate Melody Squires for place 5
Second.
on the Board of Adjustments.
Sorry.
All right. Motion made by Mr. Smith, seconded by Ms. Hart. Okay, we have 2 nominees and 2 open places. Any other questions? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you both. And we move to item H5.
Consideration and action to authorize the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. to produce a water and roadway impact fee study report. Bobby Lewis, Development Services Director.
Mayor and Council, during the City Council workshop held on March 19, 2024, staff received direction from Council to fund a professional engineering services for the creation and implementation of the development impact fees. Total cost at that time was estimated to be at $240,000 to $260,000 for 4 components. I will say that estimate was 4 years old, and so it was old. On March 14th, 2025, the city sent a request for professional services to produce a water, wastewater, roadway, and drainage impact fee study. On April 10th, 2025, the city received 3 requests for qualification firms responding to that request. On June 11th, 2025, staff completed its evaluation of the submittals received to select the best qualified firm for the project. Staff determined that Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. received the highest score for this project. During the initial discussions with Kimley Horn, estimated cost to deliver 4 components of the impact fee study report were $379,500. In follow-up discussions, it was determined that there was not enough volume of growth-oriented projects to justify implementing a wastewater and drainage impact fee study. On August 11, 2025, Kimley Horn and Associates submitted its proposal to produce a water and roadway impact fee study report. The scope of services would provide the technical analysis and required by Chapter 395 of the Texas Local Government Code to determine the maximum accessible impact fee that may be assessed. Kimley Horn will provide the city with assistance with presentations required during the public hearing and adoption process. City staff recommends the City Council authorize the city manager to execute a professional service agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates to produce a water and roadway impact fee report. We'll say the Kimley Horn schedule of services and compensations include reimbursement and fees totaling $259,500. And there are representatives from Kimley Horn in the audience to answer any questions the council may have.
All right. Thank you, Bobby. Any questions for Bobby? Any questions for representatives from Kimley Horn and Associates?
I have,
Yes.
I have a question. I think I have a couple of questions. I was just wondering how, I know that for two components, it's $259,500 for the water and the roadway. So I was wondering, okay, so if the four components was $379,500, how did we get to a number of $259? Because I'm thinking it would be maybe half of that, if it's two components. Now, I understand all of them are different, everyone in, yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben Platt with Kimberly Horn, the project manager on the job. So the drainage fees are significantly less. The study is less extensive than the roadway impact fees, and then it's the similar for water and wastewater, or I'm sorry, wastewater a little bit less extensive than that. And additionally, a lot of that is shared scope. So whether you're carrying 2 studies or 4 studies, you're still gonna have to come back to council and have those discussions and have those meetings. A lot of those meeting times is the same whether we're talking about 2 projects or 4 projects. Somewhere, they all share land use assumptions, so how much growth are we gonna see in the city? So if we do 2 studies or 4 studies, that scope is relatively similar.
Okay. I guess what I'm looking at too is because the price right now is $379,500, right, for the 4 components. And so when I see these 2 components of $259,500, and I'm thinking of master plans and everything that needs to go into it with the water, the wastewater, I believe, and the drainage.
Correct.
When you include that, maybe 18 months to 2 years from now, that number's gonna go up.
That's correct. It's likely that number will go up in
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. So can you explain to me the water analysis and max impact fee of $650,000? What does that usually entail?
Sorry, will you say that again?
The water analysis and max impact fee, I guess that's part of phase 1,
Uh-huh.
and it's for $50,000. And then there's a tax for roadway analysis and max impact fee of $80,000. I was just wondering what that entailed.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that's developing the capital improvement plan for the individual studies. So we'll take a look at your currently adopted master plans and see which of those projects are going to be eligible to be in the roadway impact fee capital improvement plan. Developing a master plan of totaling all the dollars that will be spent on the impact fee capital improvement plans.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's that for me.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Council, is there action to be taken on this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize city manager to execute a professional service agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. to produce a water and roadway impact fee study report.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Strophus, seconded by Ms. Hogan. Any other questions or comments? Good question, Ms. Hart. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Roll call.
Christina Strophos,
Aye.
Rita Hogan,
Aye.
Sean Alzona,
Aye.
John Hale,
Aye.
Del Chudway,
Aye.
Vanya Hart,
Nay.
Jack Smith.
Jack Smith stepped out during the vote.
Oh,
Nay. Did I miss the whole vote? Okay.
okay, without counting Mr. Smith, I've got 5-1.
Okay.
Motion passes.
All right. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move to item H6.
Consideration and action on authorizing the city manager or designee to jointly work with the Copperas Cove Economic Development Corporation and authorize a funding commitment for a feasibility study and creation of a tax increment reinvestment zone in Copperas Cove as an economic development tool. Ryan Havilah, City Manager.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Mayor and council, this item was previously discussed with you on May 20th of this year. At that discussion, city council asked, well, first, confirmed that they had an interest in proceeding with the feasibility study and creation of a TERS, but requested that it be split into two phases. One phase being the feasibility study, the second phase being the creation of a TERS district with all of the necessary administrative steps. And on September 24th, after City Council had previously in August allocated funding towards the study and creation, and the Economic Development Corporation allocated funding towards the study and the creation of a TERS as well. The EDC approved the agreement with Calderon Economic Development Strategies, and City Council has funded half of that cost. And so it would be staff's recommendation that you authorize me to work with the Economic Development Corporation and authorize the funding commitment that's included in the budget for half of that cost, which is $67,500.
Council, any questions for Mr. Havilah? Okay, is there a motion to be made on this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we authorize the city manager to jointly work with the Copperas Cove Economic Development Corporation and authorize a funding commitment in the amount of $67,500 for a feasibility study and the creation of a tax increment reinvestment zone in Copperas Cove.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Alzona, seconded by Mr. Hale. Discussion. All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. That concludes all of the action items. There are no reports from outside entities, staff, or advisory committees, so we move to item J, items for future agendas.
None for me, Mr. Mayor.
I would like to look at the ordinance for the carports that Mr. Huddleston talked about, and we can take another look at that and see if we can amend it.
Okay.
I
Is
can
there a-
support.
Support.
Support? Okay.
Support.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir, that's all.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I have nothing, sir.
Nothing, sir.
Nothing, sir.
None.
All right. There is no executive session tonight, so the time is 8:26. We stand adjourned.